Okay, so I'm just going to remind you guys how to export a character so that it doesn't bring all this extra stuff with it. So here is my pawn MSR. I'm going to turn off the sword for a second and turn on my, let's see what I have here. Yeah, so you can see that everything that gets highlighted is part of that. And it's a child of this MSR. Headgear. I thought there was a megaphone associated with it too. Oh, okay. So the layer one, okay, that's for the megaphone. Megaphone. Underscore LYR. Okay. All right, so I have two characters in here, but I want a clean rig. I don't want to bring any of this extra stuff. And this should, I think this also applies to textures once we get to it. If this character has been textured and you select the top of the rig and you go to File, Export Selection, and I'm just going to call this Protester, I guess. And then I'll say Export Selection. So this is still, Butyrosaurus Pawn Rig 04. I'm going to, I made a couple changes, so I'm just going to save this. But the next thing I'm going to do is go into that new scene that I created called Protester. And I'm going to select this and hit F. Let's see. So it has my megaphone layer. It only brought the layers that were associated with that character. And if we look in the hypergraph, you can see it left behind the sword, it left behind my reference pawn and the reference control handles. So this is where you want to start. And the other thing that's really important, make sure that the character is moved to the center. So this guy's ready to go. I can import this guy into my scene, my set, like he is, and he's ready to animate. He's rigged. Oh, Autumn, that's one thing I don't think I told you. Just make sure that you're when you export this character, if I hadn't bound the mesh to the rig, I can do that in this file also. So this is a clean file. If I hadn't already bound the character to the rig, I would just select the joints and then select the mesh and then go to skin, bind skin, but it's already done. So this guy's ready to go. He's ready to animate. And just check all of your control handles before you do that. Make sure everything is in the right center pivot for rotations. Like I showed you guys last time, the headphone or the megaphone, I was putting it in a position that if I wanted to set it down, it's not in the way. It's easy to access. Actually, this is my default position, and I think what I just did is probably a little bit better. This would probably be a better. This looks a little bit more relaxed. Anyways, I'll let you guys decide where those default positions are, but yeah, so that's pretty much it. And then I would do that for every character. And let's see, I'm going to go to a different file. Save this one just in case I made some changes. Open scene. In fact, yeah, I'll show you what I'm working with, which is crazy compared to. So here's my thesis project. I have I'm working on scene 4. Actually, that's not it. It's scene 304 is the last scene I was working on. And I don't remember if I mentioned this to you, but for the sake of layout, I'm using a lot of the same models. You'll see there's 2 female models that are the exact same. There's 3 little girl models that are the exact same. I think there's an old man model that's the exact same. And I just need stand-in characters just so I could set my cameras to tell my story for now before I finish modeling my actual characters. And you can see how long this is taking because it's a huge file. the rigs are super big. One of the rigs of the mom character, her rig is like, I mean, the character by itself is like 100 megabytes, even before I bring anything else in. Just opening her clean character, it's 100 megabytes. So it's a huge file. And then I have two of those of the same rig. And then I have some smaller rigs, but they're still pretty big. So this is a really big file. Well, maybe I shouldn't have chosen such a big file. But the reason I selected that file is because I wanted to show you how complicated these can get when you're working with bigger scenes, and how important it is to stay organized.
It's 99% done. Let's see.
I'm sorry?
Let's see. It says 99% done. With the
Oh, does it?
Oh.
There you go. Yeah, so this is from, yeah, this is a artifact from older versions of Maya.
Mm.
Yeah, and I'm getting all these little pink warnings and stuff like that because of, uh-oh. It may not, we'll see. It may not like that I'm working on, that I'm screen sharing as well. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So this is my scene, and yeah, this is where the mother and daughter get tear gassed. I have a sound file in here also, so it's a really big file.
That's so cool.
So I'm going to go to layouts. And this is my camera 3, and I don't want to move this one, so that when we get to cameras, you want to set your camera and then lock it. So you can see if I try to move around, it stays put, but that's a different story. We'll get to cameras. So in my perspective view, so here's my ICE agents and my stand-in SUVs for ICE, but way over here somewhere, let me turn off. So I have my ground plane that I have to turn off because I'm trying to find my pawn that I just, oh, then I'm going to import. Okay, so then I turn off my fence. Okay, so my pawn should end up somewhere down here. So here's my little butterfly. And anyway, so file, import. And I'm going to choose that pawn called protester. Oh, it's in a different scene. So it's in primitive theater, scenes, protester. There we go. So here's my little pawn. So this is completely a different world for him. But if I hit F in the hypergraph, where is it? Oh, I haven't selected him. Sorry, I got to turn on my controls, select his control, and then I hit F. Yeah, so here's my pawn rig, which seems kind of long. But then when you look over at these other rigs, these things are enormous. So you can see this stuff can get really messy really fast, and you have to stay organized.
No, thank you.
We're not even at the bottom yet.
No.
There we go. So these extra long ones, these are the moms. That rig is really big. Whoa. And it does some cool stuff, but it's you know, you can see how much my computer's lagging because I'm doing so much stuff on it. But yeah, so that's what I needed to do. And you can see this butterfly is set to the origin point. Everything that I brought into the scene starts out at the 000, and then I key it at its safety frame, and we'll get into animation, and then then I'll pose it. So you saw the mom and daughter further down. Oh, I could, you know what? I could actually have him. He could be riding the butterfly. Yeah, I should animate that. That'd be cool. Anyways, so yeah, here's my scene with my mom and daughter, and they're sleeping, or she's taking a nap, and the daughter. Actually, let me just show this to you. It's well, I won't actually go to the camera, but so she shows her mom this little thing that she made, and she's all excited. But then the little butterfly, I think, I don't know, I have two butterflies, but the butterfly lands there and they get all excited. and then ice shows up and they get all scared. And then they tear gas them. So yeah, it gets pretty ugly. But yeah, my whole point in showing you all this is how important it is to stay organized. Naming stuff properly, cleaning stuff up, exporting stuff so that you just bring in a clean file. So that, yeah, you can keep your files small, because this is a huge file. So anyways, and here's the background. So yeah, actually this is an example. So this is the kind of thing I was talking about with a dome. Let me turn on my sky. So you can see that's just a huge, oh, it's not even a full dome. It was a full sphere, but I deleted a lot of it. And I realized I probably need to rebuild this as a complete dome, and actually just a sphere, because I'm having some issues with the ground plane and the transition between the ground plane and the dome, because they're not the same object right now. So if I make them together, I won't have that issue. Where's my ground plane? And you can move these layers around. You can use the up and down arrows, but it changes them. I don't know why it does that, but I wish it would leave them where I intended them. So, you know, if I'm looking down here at their eye level, for the most part, you can't really see that it's fairly seamless. But when I get up to the butterflies view, you can see these gaps in it. So I just need to recreate the ground plane and the sky dome together. Anyways, yeah. You guys have any questions? I'm gonna go ahead and stop screen sharing and stop